introduce it right. Brilliant. Hello, everybody. My name's Katie. I'm the Waste and Environmental Officer at Cove Council. And over the past year or so, I've been fortunate enough to be involved in a really unique and innovative partnership program where Council partnered with a charitable organisation to reduce food waste across our local government area. So it was a pilot project that we ran for 12 months to trial if the idea behind the partnership could be used as a successful model that other councils could adopt, thereby increasing the reach and impact of our message and benefiting more communities. So that's basically why I'm here today, just to tell you a little bit about the partnership and how it was structured and the successes that we had, in the hope that maybe it might spark some interest in one of you to try something like that in your own regions, or at least take some transferable learnings from the projects that you can apply back at home. So, the partnership project is called Cove OzHarvest Food Rescue, and as the name implies, it's a partnership between Cove Council and OzHarvest. And the project has two aims. The first is it's aimed at physically reducing the amount of food waste going to landfill, as well as providing a platform for broader community education. So before I talk about the actual partnership program with OzHarvest, I wanted to open with a clip that puts some context around the kind of space that we were working in. It's a trailer for a documentary called Dive, and Cove Council screened this to launch our project to the community. It's an American documentary, but the food waste issues that it talks about are easily transferable to the Australian market. And unfortunately, due to the internet connection in this room, the clip isn't working, but the movie is about a group of young dumpster divers that get all their food from the back of dumpsters out the back of supermarkets such as Woolies and Coles, and really goes to highlight how much good food is going to waste. So I wanted to make clear, though, that our campaign wasn't about getting food out of the dumpsters while it was there. The end of the movie actually speaks of the large amount of food rescue organisations that are popping up to redistribute this food to vulnerable people in need before it even reaches the dumpster. So that's the basis of Council's campaign, and that's why we chose to partner with OzHarvest. So a little bit about OzHarvest for those of you in the audience who may not have heard of them before. They're a non-denominational charity that rescues quality excess food from businesses that would otherwise be thrown away and sent to landfill. So with the help of a team of volunteers and a fleet of about 20 collection vans, they go and pick up food from supermarkets, hotels, food manufacturers, and anyone in between. So the surplus food is collected for free, and then it's delivered for free to approximately 500 charities across Sydney, Adelaide, Brisbane, Gold Coast, Melbourne and Newcastle, and they help feed the most vulnerable and disadvantaged in our society. So in terms of where the idea for the pilot project came from, food waste is a big issue for Council, and we already knew that OzHarvest were collecting some surplus food from businesses in our area just due to the high visibility of their bright yellow van. So we wanted a way where we could capitalise on this pre-existing service that was of benefit to both OzHarvest and to Council. So we wanted to figure out a way where we could boost the amount of food that was being donated in our area, and work out a way to begin to measure how much food was being collected as an indicator of diversion to landfill of that food waste. So went back with the team and brainstormed some ideas and came up with a possible program that would be mutually beneficial to both parties. And I just wanted to say, while it's just me up here talking about the project, Richard Lee, who is Council's Waste Contract Coordinator, had a massive role in getting this project off the ground and established, so due credit needs to go to him for the pilot. So Richie and I went and we approached OzHarvest with an offer of marketing and communication support for them in return for getting some data back from them on the quantity of food that they were collecting from our area. So after a few discussions with OzHarvest, we made that formal with the signing of a memorandum of understanding, and then we got to work. So in terms of how the partnership worked, Council sent out a letter of offer to participate in the project to all the food businesses in our area, and we did that utilising the food business register that we were supplied by our environmental health officer. So along with the registration form to sign up to the program, we sent the letter that outlined 3 main benefits to business of joining up to the partnership program. So the first was reduced cost. So because OzHarvest picks up their excess food for free, it would reduce the amount of waste that they needed to pay to get disposed of. There would be increased support. So Council would provide participating business with a window sticker, which you can see in the slide, so customers can easily identify the project supporters. And then residents would be encouraged to support businesses showing that window sticker through Council's marketing campaign around the project. So that was through events and press releases to local media, e-newsletters, posters, the works. And then the third point we raised in that letter was about giving back. So that businesses' commitment to reducing food waste by donating their excess quality food provided them with an opportunity to give back to the community in a way that was really free and easy. So once Council received the registration form back from the interested businesses, we then passed those company details to OzHarvest, and OzHarvest would call the business to coordinate the logistics of collecting the food. In terms of the strength that the project had, Lane Cove OzHarvest Food Rescue was the first time that OzHarvest had partnered with Council in such a way. So the fact that it was quite unique and innovative helped us to get a little bit of media attention for the project and help get other organisations interested in how the partnership was operating. One of the really key things of the campaign is that it's holistic in that it links economic good with environmental good and with social good, and it also involves all sectors of the community under the One Project campaign. So it links Council with business, with charities, with schools and with the community. So while the partnership is operationally based on linking Council, business and OzHarvest, the sticker concept that we used provided a broader educational platform for community education and involvement. So the community was engaged at the very beginning of the program when we had the movie launch of Dive, which was the trailer that I was going to show you at the beginning. And Ronnie Khan, who is the CEO and founder of OzHarvest, came along to that launch, and she gave a talk to our community members on what the partnership with council was about and about the meaning behind the yellow shopfront stickers that hopefully they would be seeing popping up in the shopping district. We also leveraged the partnership by running competitions aimed at our residents. So we ran a competition where people could win OzHarvest cookbooks by writing into us with their favourite recipes for using leftovers, and those winning recipes were published in Council's Sustainability e-newsletter. It also provided a mechanism for business education. So we invited, at the launch and movie screening, we invited business owners who had already signed up to the program to come along, and they were able to get their photos with Ronnie, and their business name was mentioned to audience members prior to the movie being screened. And the window sticker concept was really key here too, because not only does the window sticker spark conversations between community members who notice it in the shopfront windows, but it also sparks conversations about food waste issues with employees of the businesses that are engaged, and it does it in a really positive way, in a manner that previous conversations between council and businesses about their food waste was unable to do. For the results of the pilot, we had 13 businesses on board with our project, and they were from a range of operators, from big guys such as Woolworths to school canteens to small family delis. OzHarvest was collecting about 2,000 kilograms of food a month from those guys, which translates to providing about 5,000 meals a month to people in need. Part of the support that we gave to participating businesses was the production of a thank you flyer. So on that flyer we listed the participating businesses' names, and then on the back we talked about the outcomes of the project and what we were achieving. The artwork for those DL flyers translated into pull-up banners, which OzHarvest put at their stall, which they had at the annual Lane Cove Village Fair. So while we had 13 businesses on board, which was great, to be honest, probably only about half of those were donating on a regular weekly basis, and that was coming from the big guys, so Woolies, Thomas Dux, RGA, and that kind of makes sense because it's those larger businesses that have more of an economic gain to be had by getting OzHarvest to pick up their food for free rather than needing to dispose of it. In terms of the school canteens, sometimes they could only donate at the end of term or at the end of a particular function, and some of our little players didn't really have much food waste to begin with. But in saying that, their participation in the project, despite small or irregular donations, is still really valuable due to the presence of the window sticker and the community awareness and engagement that that provides. So following the success achieved by Lane Cove OzHarvest Food Rescue, Shore Regional Organisation of Councils, or SHOROC, approached OzHarvest about applying for an Organics Infrastructure Stream 3 grant through the EPA's funding for an additional truck for the region, so that a similar project to the Lane Cove project could be rolled out across a regional scale. The project stalled, however, when OzHarvest didn't have the money to fund a driver for the van if the grant was successful. So SHOROC councils and 4 Northern Sydney regional councils, with EPA approval, agreed to provide partial funding from the Better Waste Recycling Fund to support a driver for 1 year, and then OzHarvest would find the funds to keep that service operational after that time. So the support from those councils to the OzHarvest grant was given on the basis that OzHarvest would provide them with the same data that they were giving Lane Cove, so the amount of food that they were collecting, which can be used as an indicator of diversion of food waste to landfill, who they were collecting from, the charity relief organisations that they were servicing, and how many meals that translated to provide food to those in need in the area. The supporting councils of that grant are also going to be given the opportunity to brand the new van with their logos, and Shorrock and Lane Cove are putting together a council kit, so a similar education program can be launched and leveraged off the back of that partnership program across the 8 regions. So the additional van for the Nesrock and Shorrock regions has the potential to service over 100 new food donors, and that's estimated to divert 83,000 kilograms of food waste from landfill each year, and that number translates into providing close to 200,000 meals to people in need. So OzHarvest has the aim of redistributing that food collected with the new van to Nesrock and Shorrock food relief agencies as the first priority. So what the expansion to a regional project shows is how council collaboration can achieve much greater results than an individual council can alone, and how councils can really benefit by leveraging economic, social and environmental good by partnering with non-government organisations. So I've provided contact details for myself and for Liz Quinlan. Liz is the Regional Waste Coordinator for Shorrock, and it was Liz that was really the driving force behind the expansion of the project to a regional project, so a lot of credit needs to go to her for that. That's it from me. Thank you for listening.